it's here for Pop Turner speaking to Micah Abbey about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Here's the thing, man. I remember when this movie was announced that there was going to be an animated movie theater movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, and, it's coming out August 8th. Has it hit you that people are going to finally be able to see soon what you've been working on?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Like, it's been so long. I don't think people realize like how much of a pain it was to sit there for 2 years and not be able to talk about it. But like now that we're like able to talk about it, it's like still mind blowing. Like I don't think it's finally hit me yet. And like for like my friends or like toys to be like in stores, it's like blowing my mind. Like I have toys that have my voice on it. It's like
no, that's so great. And like it's one of those things too where there's such a rich history of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? Like the comics, the toys and everything. How much kind of research did you kind of do like after officially booking the role? Did you just go back and do kind of a nostalgia kind of look at everything?
100%. I have to. I didn't want to copy and paste what they did.
Yep.
So I watched a few, like I watched the Michael Bay movies and then I watched The Rise and then
Yep.
I watched like I grew up on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So I obviously knew like the basic stuff, but I wanted to dig deep. I wanted to make certain connections. But yeah, I was really excited because obviously, Baxter Stockman like has the fly, but this is like the super fly, which is super cool. But I love how we've changed it. I love how we've given a different version. I love how there's so many versions. And I think there's a lot of good versions. And I feel like this is going to be one to remember. And I like how we've changed it up and we've taken different things from all of the versions and just put them all together.
In terms of getting involved with the project, Micah, and like the audition and everything, like how much do you know about the project? Like, do you know it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Do you know it's like just your voice? It's animated? Like, I'm just curious about that.
So when I first auditioned, they had us like audition. So regular auditions for voiceover, for people that don't know, it's like you just send in a voice recording of your voice reading the lines. This one, they had us record ourselves as if it was like an in-person audition. So it was like filmed on a camera. So you see us, you see ourselves. And I think that was something that was such a creative decision from Jeff and the casting directors, because it really shows your personality. And like, it's like you have to memorize lines and actually think about the lines that you're performing instead of just reading them off of a page. So I didn't know if it was going to be motion capture or if it was going to be animation. But after I saw and they developed like announcing stuff, it's the animation is so sick and so cool.
Did you go in for Donatello? Was that the character that you kind of read for?
Yeah, so initially they sent me Donatello, then they came back to me, sent me Mikey, and then they sent me to a chemistry read as Donatello.
Okay.
And actually the person who plays Leo, Nicholas, he initially went to the chemistry read, which if you don't know, that's like the final stage, like the chemistry read as Donatello. And I remember him talking because they put us all in this big Zoom call and then they sent us to little waiting rooms in Zoom. It was so fun. But then we were talking beforehand to Jeff and it was all of us, like all of the people that were like the top four for one role. I remember like Nick was Donatello and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy has so much energy. He's so funny. Like this is it. Like, well, it was fun at least. And then they sent him out and they were like, hey, Nick, can you actually read for Leo? And it was so funny that he ended up booking Leo. And then also, yeah, Shimon and Brady and I were all in the final room, which was super cool.
Oh, man, that's awesome. And there was obviously kind of that big kind of cast reveal at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. Like, that was kind of a cool thing. How far in advance did you know about that reveal? Like, was that kind of part of the big plan? Because we know how it is. There's like 18 steps of a movie kind of getting out there, right? Like, when did you kind of find out about the Kids' Choice Awards?
No, I've been waiting for someone to ask me this question. I'm so glad you asked. Basically, they told us for like so long that, oh, we're going to announce you then. We're going to announce you here. We're going to announce you then. And then they never did. And I was like, okay, dude, like stop the troll. Like the movie's coming out in August. Like we need to be announced soon. And so they ended up like, I don't want to say it was last minute, but it was like 2 weeks before I made, or like 3 weeks. They were like, hey, we might do this. Just be ready. And then like a week before they were like, or a week and a half, they were like, okay, we're doing this. And then you're going to be on stage. And then basically they told us like the day before, like what we were gonna do, like we were gonna slide down a big tongue and we're gonna get slimed. But we actually like didn't like
They didn't
didn't
slime
tell
you
us.
guys, did they?
They did, they
Oh, they
did.
did. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
They didn't tell us that we were gonna get slimed until like till later, which they shouldn't have done that, which they gave us like a day before to prepare an outfit. Which is why Nicholas actually did not have a different outfit from because we walked the carpet in outfits and then we went and on the show.
No, I remember the. I can't even imagine how big of a day that was for all of you because you just have this news that you're like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just banked for a while and then boom, Kids' Choice Awards. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's always going to be a weird feeling, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so we couldn't even talk about it on the carpet, but it was like it was such a surreal feeling. Like there's like a picture on my Instagram where it's like Shaman like picking me up, and it was like because we were just so excited at the after party. We were like, wow, like it's finally like come to like reality.
When
We've been
people
waiting.
when people get to go see the movie in theaters, I think it's pretty cool because I feel like nostalgia is always like this because you're gonna have the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans that are going to go see the movie, and then you're going to have an opportunity to get like new fans of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Mutant Mayhem. Like that's cool to think about too, right, Micah? Like the kind of combination tag team of both these, like the new fans and the older generation fans.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think because like it's so when I was younger, obviously I grew up on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and watching like the first thing I watched was the 2012 series, and it was like I was so fascinated by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was like my whole life for a good chunk of my life. And I think like to be in the position where I get to affect like the younger generation in that way is really surreal. And it's like a dream come true.
Yep.
Because I know how fascinated I was and the fact that there's gonna be kids that were my age that were my age, that were my past age that are now that are gonna watch this movie and like be fascinated. And it's like, how is that even possible that I get to like do that? And it's a big like thing to live up to, but
it's like a big responsibility in a lot of ways. Yeah. But it's crazy because you mentioned like the 2012, like I grew up, like I'm a 90s kid, right? So that like I don't know, did you get a chance to watch a live action Teenage Mutant Turtle movie? Dude, those like that was the coolest thing when I was a kid.
Yeah, during my research, we went back and I think me and Brady both we rewatched it and we rewatched like one episode together. But I mean, it's just like it's like so crazy to think like where we were back then and like where we are now.
Totally.
Like it's so different and it's so cool and it's the animation style still is so unique. Like they're still doing different things in such a long franchise, which is so cool.
Was there when you went and voiced all your stuff, obviously, there's going to be lunchtime and everything. Was pizza on the menu at times or not really? Which is like a bummer if the answer is no.
So I hate to do this. So basically we would film. So we're four boys and I think during the recording sessions, Nick did live in California at one point.
Okay.
But then he moved to Texas. So it was four different people in completely different states. And it was just like to get us all together, it was like there had to be a certain time frame. And Brady's a busy guy. He's always working.
Oh, yeah.
So to find us all together and then Seth too, it's like an interesting time frame. So it was always in the morning. It was like 10 a.m.
Okay.
So pizza wasn't really like
I mean, like, when you wrap up though, get like an 11 a.m. pizza right? Or something.
I think if we do a second movie, we 100%. I'm ordering pizza the first day.
Yeah, I feel like
missed out on that.
Funny thing, when I was in high school, and it's interesting because I talk about this on the show a little bit too. I feel like it's so crazy, right? Like geek culture, comic book culture is so popular now and so big. And when I was in high school, like it wasn't the case. Like I used to be teased for wearing like Spider-Man shirts and everything, but now I'd be like the most popular kid in school.
Exactly.
So
correct, yeah.
I was part of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles club in high school, and it was like we had Friday like watching the movies and shows, and we'd have pizza lunches. Everybody would try to get in the club though because they wanted the pizza on Fridays. Yeah. But I was like actually a fan of Teenage Mutant Turtles. So you know what we started doing? We started doing like quizzes and tests for people to be in to see who just want to be in for the pizza.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. Man.
So there was like a fan. It was like every 2 weeks, and it would be at lunchtime, and you'd watch like a bit of the movie because it'd be like an hour, right? So you couldn't watch the whole movie or like an episode of like the cartoon from the 90s, but like there'd be pizza lunch, and like we had this wait list of like 40 people that wanted to join the club.
That is
because
awesome.
they found out they'd get a piece of pizza.
That's so funny.
I know. One of the things that I really love, and like, there's some really cool things of like Seth Rogen talking about like the BTS and about creating kind of the universe of like the Mutant Mayhem a little bit and everything, is like really wanting to like touch on the fact that like they are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like having fun and like being crazy and still loving pizza and everything. Exactly. What was that kind of like preparing and becoming a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? I'm just curious about that.
I think the most important part was our chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
We're obviously teenagers. We're all teenagers. But it's really important that we're all on the same track. Like we really, like I am really friends with these people. Like I don't think people, a lot of times, like a lot of people hear this, like people don't get along with their cast members. Like literally we did a press day, like a press junket, like a couple weeks ago. And the night we ended up all staying the night at the Four Seasons Hotel because we were like, why not? And so me, Brady, and Nick all had a sleepover in a hotel room. But Shimon was on a date or something. I don't want to talk too much about that, but Shimon missed out. But we really are friends, and I think that's the most important part. And just like the being teenagers obviously comes naturally because we're teenagers. Yeah. But I think the writing portion of the script was transformed by us because they let us do a lot of our own stuff. They let us, like, majority of the movie is just us messing around and just us talking. Like we literally are just in a room talking to each other. Like it's not like script, because they wanted it to be real. And we obviously stuck to the script, but we obviously did a lot of transforming of the story and the lines and the improv. It was a lot of.
And you know yourself, Nicholas Cantu and Brady Noon, you're all officially past guests of Popternative because I've interviewed both of them before too.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah,
was last on the list.
Yeah, I know. we got to do that too. But what before we wrap up? This might be a tough question because especially with Donatello, because I feel like Donatello and Michelangelo, in my opinion, are the two most kind of like more complex Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if you think about it, because there's so many layers to them and everything. Like, What's your favorite thing about Donatello? Like, if you name one thing specifically.
I mean, I love Donatello, so it's hard to name.
Yeah, exactly. But like, there's a lot. He's funny. Yeah. He's nerdy, but he's funny too, right?
Yeah, he knows like comedic timing.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is just his uniqueness, like his left brain. Like he's a very left brain person, and I'm very similar in that way where I have to take my time with things. Like a lot of the other turtles, they act on instinct. So he's more of a take your time with it, calculate it, and I feel like that's so like it sets him apart from his brothers because he really is more thoughtful than like just like action. He thinks things out, and that's so cool to see because there's a lot of teenagers that are like that. A lot of people see teenagers as just like, oh, I'm going to do and say the first thing that's on my mind. It's like Donatello's one of those people who sits down, thinks about something that he's about to say and calculates it and then performs it in the most perfect way because he thinks about it. So yeah, that's my favorite part.
I love that. That's such a good answer. I love it. A+ answer. That was awesome. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I can't wait for people to see it. Micah, so great chatting with you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It was wonderful talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the film's coming out August 8th. People are gonna be able to see it. And you mentioned your Instagram account. Is it just like your name if people want to keep update with everything?
Yeah, it's just Micah Abbey, and I'm also active on Twitter. It's the Micah Abbey, and I respond to a lot of stuff. And if you guys send me fan art, I will be happy to repost and all that. So Thank you guys.
No, that's amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Micah Abbey, of course, is going to voice Donatello in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Until next time, this is Micah and PD Beats, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.